Creation Stewards is building a new network of support. Like David Nixon of Trinity Emmetsburg, many tackle local environmental concerns.
This idea of God's creation, our land, our environment, perhaps one of the most important movements for our future.
In this land between two rivers, the number one issue is water.
Well, I think the biggest one in Iowa right now is water quality. We see a lot of it in the newspaper, but it's all around us. And fortunately, we live in a state that has abundant farming. And a lot of us grew up on a farm, and we value that and we honor that. But in the meantime, we have to also honor the citizens who may live by streams or downriver who are affected if pesticides and chemicals go into that water. And there is a way that we can do that if we all work together, and that's in honoring our wetlands.
A number of Iowa parishes have returned land to native species. Bill Witt of St. Luke Cedar Falls describes their site.
Here is savanna plantings. Savanna is basically where the prairie and these widely spaced big oak trees intermingle. And so this is, St. Luke's has just this little portion here that really tells us this is what part of Iowa looked like. We've got all this landscaping and terracing and you know, these buttresses and things to kind of hold it all in place. Why don't we use prairie plants and their deep roots to help hold it all together? And so they began to create that prairie. And then we had to do some more repair work on those walls, those retaining walls and so forth. And so at that point then, because a portion of that original prairie planting was lost, then we replanted it.
Curt Ritter describes the included labyrinth.
Well, a lot of people think that a labyrinth is a maze, but it's not really, because the idea of a labyrinth is that you actually start at one point and you end up in the center, but you take a very kind of meandering path in order to get there. So it allows you time to contemplate and pray and just have quiet time, typically.
Like other parishes, Trinity Waterloo has acreage to steward.
It was donated to us to build the church. And at the time, this was all zoned residential. And so we thought we were moving into a future suburb of Waterloo. And then financially, things didn't go so well in the country, and so they rezoned it small commercial.
Suzanne Peterson ponders their options.
So the two things we thought about were a food garden, like to have AmeriCorps or somebody come in and use that to grow food, or to reconvert it back to prairie.
What began as a few members growing vegetables for parish fun has become a vibrant community effort toward food security. St. Timothy's Faith and Grace Garden now provides large quantities of vegetables to agencies like DMARC, Lutheran Social Services, Catholic Workers, and West Des Moines Human Services. By the end of September, 5,822 pounds of produce had been contributed, grown by 353 volunteers, old, young, and in between. A new addition? Tagging monarch butterflies in the recently added pollinator garden. Prairie grasses like big and little bluestem, prairie dropseed and buffalo grass, and flowering forbs like cardinal flower, blazing star, and spiderwort encircle the urban lot of the Cathedral Church of St. Paul in downtown Des Moines. Along with careful grading and permeable pavers, these deep-rooted native plants collect and clean water. They keep as much as 12 swimming pools full of water out of the storm sewers and the Des Moines River each year. In 2008, flood recovery efforts opened the cathedral leadership's eyes and our minds to more sustainable water options. for we dealt with a dilapidated asphalt lot in need of repair, no matter what. Grants from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, Polk County, and the Diocese, as well as generous private donors, made the retrofit a reality.